Chapter 6. The Speckled Band. It is a long, cold night. Night birds call out from time to time. Every 15 minutes, the two men hear the village clock. Suddenly, just after 3 o'clock, they see a light through the ventilator. It soon goes off. But then the men smell oil and hot metal. Someone is lighting a lamp. Nothing happens for half an hour, and then there is a strange hissing noise. When he hears this, Holmes jumps off the bed, lights a match, and begins to hit the bell rope with his cane.
"Do you see it, Watson?"
he cries. Watson hears a whistling sound, but he sees nothing, only his friend's white face. Holmes stops hitting the bell rope and looks up at the ventilator. Just then, they hear the most terrible noise. A cry from someone very angry and afraid. The cry goes up, and then, suddenly, it stops.
"What is it?"
Watson asks.
"Take your pistol,"
says Holmes.
"We are going into Dr. Roylott's room."
The men walk down the corridor, and Holmes hits Roylott's door with his cane. There is no answer. Holmes opens the door and goes into the room. Watson goes after him, his pistol in his hand. A lamp on the table lights the open door of the metal safe. Dr. Grimsby Roylott is sitting on a chair next to the table. He is wearing long night clothes. The dog lead with the loop is in one hand. His eyes are open and they are looking up. Round his head there is a strange yellow band with brown speckles on it.
"It's the speckled band,"
says Holmes. Watson walks forward a little, and at that moment, the strange yellow band begins to move too. The big head and body of a terrible snake begins to move out of Roylott's hair.
"Be careful, Watson. That's the most poisonous snake in India,"
Holmes cries.
"It can kill a man in 10 seconds. We can do nothing for Roylott. He is dead. We must put the snake in the safe."
Holmes takes the dog lead from the dead man's hand. He throws the loop around the snake's body. Then he throws the hissing snake into the safe and closes the door.
"Now, Watson, we must take Miss Stoner away from here. And then we can tell the police everything."
Helen soon hears the sad story, and she goes to stay at a friend's house in Harrow. Weeks later, the police tell her,
"We're sorry about your stepfather, Miss Stoner, but snakes are dangerous animals. You can't play with them."
Helen says nothing, but now she knows about her sister's death. The day after Roylott's death, Holmes finishes the story for Dr. Watson, and he answers his friend's questions.
Now we understand Julia's last words, Watson. The poor woman sees the snake for a second before she dies and talks of the speckled band. All the time, the danger is not coming from outside the house. It is coming from inside, from Dr. Grimsby Roylott. He is guilty, not the gypsies. Nobody can get in through the door and window, so the ventilator and the bell rope must be the answer to our terrible crime. The bell rope goes to the bed. Roylott loves his strange animals, so I begin to think perhaps the bell rope is a bridge for a small animal. It goes from his room through the ventilator into Julia's room. The chair in Roylott's room has the marks of feet on it. Roylott stands on it with the snake in his hands, and then he puts the animal through the ventilator. The snake's poison kills quickly. The marks from its mouth are very small, so the police do not find them. Of course, Grimsby must bring the snake back to his room later, and so we have the whistle and the milk. Grimsby teaches his animals well. The metallic noise is the door of the safe closing on the snake. Perhaps the snake doesn't kill on the first night, but sooner or later it must kill, and poor Julia must die. On the night of Grimsby's death, I hear the hiss of the snake. I light a match and quickly hit the animal.
Then it goes through the ventilator
Watson says.
and kills Dr. Roylott.
That's right.
Holmes says.
Grimsby's animal finally kills its teacher. Am I also Grimsby's killer, Watson? Perhaps I am, but I don't feel very bad about it. I'm going to sleep well tonight, my friend.
Me too.
Watson smiles.